Hi friends, it's Deanna here, and today we're making the Whimsy Romper, and I am so excited because I just had a little niece not super long ago, and I am so excited to sew for her. And the Whimsy Romper starts at 0 to 3 months, so that's really exciting because it's kind of hard sometimes to find little baby patterns, so this is great. And I just made myself this South Shore romper not that long ago, and I used this beautiful lemon fabric, and I had just enough scraps to pull out this little outfit, so I'm gonna be matching her, so that's gonna be so exciting. I'm such a weirdo. I love matching, and my son, I match my son sometimes. I don't have a little girl, so it's really sweet to be able to use all these little cute prints and patterns with my little niece, because my son does not like that type of stuff. He wants all boy. I just made him a baseball outfit. He just wants sports and stuff like that, so he's not about the cute little prints and stuff like that. So I'm excited to be able to use it for her, and we're gonna match, so yeah. And so we'll be going out together, and people will think she's my baby, so I don't care because she's precious. So yeah. Anyway, before I get started, let me remind you about our fun fan giveaway. That is when every month Ellie and Mac gives out $50 gift certificate for Ellie and Mac to buy all these awesome patterns. And all you have to do is subscribe and comment below and let me know that you're subscribed, and you will be entered for the drawing. And we do have drawing monthly, so you have different chances to win. So go ahead and comment below, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, share with your friends so they can win, and if they don't sew, they can win it and give it to you so you can sew for them if you want to sew for them. You know, sometimes it's a little bit of a burden when people start asking you to sew for them. I know, I've been there. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get started. As usual, I have my pieces all cut out already, and I'm using the, again, Whimsy Romper from Ellie and Mac. And so we're gonna get started. So I've got my front piece, and I'm going to grab my back piece, and I'm gonna put it I had my back piece, now I'm grabbing my front piece, and I'm gonna meet it at the shoulders. I am doing the placket at the crotch area because of the fact that this is a baby. So it's easier that way for changing diaper and stuff like that. If you're using it for an older child and you're doing the placket on the back, where there's going to be snaps so they can open the back, then I would, the steps are a little bit different. So what the first part of the steps is basically, if you've watched the Be Curious tutorial, it's on there, because you put the bodice together first and you line the bodice. So the bodice is lined, so you do 2 of these, a liner and an outer, and then you're gonna do the placket on the back. So if you want to go ahead, if you're doing that, you can go ahead and go watch the Be Curious and just use the first part of that video, because we do the whole thing. Now, the Be Curious is with wovens, non-stretch fabrics, and this one is for cotton knits, so it's not cotton knits. This one's for knits. So it's, well, cotton lycra is a cotton, but yeah, it's stretch fabrics. So it's just the different type of fabric, but we do the same steps. But this is the one that doesn't have the liner on it. If you have questions about it, please comment below, and I will help you out however I can. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and sew up the shoulders right here at the top seams with help if I turn on my machine. My light bulb died, so now I don't really know if my machine is on or off or ever. So I just have to try it out. It's really stinky. I need to get a new one, but it just died not that long ago. Just the other day, and I haven't even looked into it. All right, so here's my shoulders are sewn together, and now we're gonna do go ahead and move on to our neckband. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my bodice, and I'm gonna meet the shoulder seams and go to the front and snippety snippety snap, and then to the back, snippety snippety snap. And I actually think this is the front and that was the back because it's shorter. And I do a little snip, tiny, that is gonna come off when you serge, but I have a mark right there. That way I know, okay, this is my front. Oh my gosh. They're having construction across the street and the cement truck just went by. And my son was just like a few minutes ago standing here at my window watching them work. And he was so amazed by that. Now I'm going to meet the back and the front. And I'm going to go to one side and snippity snap. That's my quarter. And with this tiny little outfit, it almost goes right up to the shoulder seam, but not quite to the shoulder seam. It makes more of a difference when you have bigger clothing, but still, I still do it because I want my neckband to be nice and even. And if I don't do that, it'll be just a little bit off. So it'll be tight on the front, looser in the back. It might give you ripples. I don't like that. So that's why I measure. I'm doing this yellow because I think it's gonna pop really well with this. I was going to do yellow on mine binding right here, but then I tried it on and I was like, I don't really love it, so I didn't do it because I think it looks more childish. And already as it is, having linen fabric on you, it looks a little bit childish, which is fine with me, but I didn't want it to look way over the top childish, so I just went with the same color, and I love how it turned out. Anyhow, so now I'm gonna grab the neckband and I'm gonna find the short raw edges right here, meet them together and serge. We're gonna put that together like the neckband that it is. And this thing came over here. Hold on. It has nothing to do with what I'm sewing, but it's bugging me, so I gotta remove it. Okay, so there it is. Now I'm gonna go ahead and, yes, I just threw my little piece of thread on the ground. I'm gonna fold it wrong sides together, and I'm gonna lick my finger so I can grab it and meet the raw edges together. And now I'm gonna steam it flat so the raw edges stay together. And I'm going to mark the front. Again, I'm just snapping a little tiny bit, but I'm still gonna clip it because I don't want my bands to come apart. The seam is obviously your back, and then I'm gonna meet the front and the back, and I'm gonna snippy snap on the sides to make a quarters, and that's what I'm gonna match up to my neckband, to my neck, not neckband, because this is my neckband, to my dress neck thingy. So now I'm gonna meet them right sides together, figure out which one's the front. Here's the front, the lower area. So I'm gonna meet the seam to the back. I just like to put the seam on the back. That way when they're putting it on, if I don't put a tag, if you're selling something and you put in a tag, I understand. But when I sew for my family, for myself, or for friends, I don't usually like to put a tag on there because I know a lot of kids and people are sensitive to tags and things like that. So I try not to put tags on my things, just to be aware of that. I don't know why. I mean, I guess, I don't know. And so I always put the seam in the back. That way they can tell which one's the back and which one's the front, because there's no tag. And plus, you don't want to be able to see this little seam right here. And I when I first started sewing, I didn't even realize that what was the back or the front of my dress, and I put it backwards. And so now to this day, I love the dress. It's like one of my first dresses I ever made. I love the dress. I wear it all the time, but it does have the seam right here. And I don't think it's super noticeable. I don't think people notice it, but I notice it every time. I'm like, I should probably take it apart and fix it, but I just. So now we're going to attach this neckband, and what we're doing is we're just sewing those raw edges together, making sure that, okay, so you're going to put it on your serger, or if you're not using a serger, you're going to do zigzag stitch. You're going to put it on your sewing machine. You're going to flush it with the machine, and what we're going to do is, first I'll do a couple stitches, and then I'm going to grab where that mark is and pull a little bit, because you're going to pull the neckband to match up to the dress. And, what was I going to say? Yeah, so you got to pull it a little bit. And make sure that you're sewing all 3 layers. And make sure you don't have any of the dress coming in from the bottom. I've done that before. Very sad. Then you ruin your fabric, especially if you're using a serger. If you're using a sewing machine, then you can usually just clip it off and you'll be fine. But with a serger, it'll rip a hole and then there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, so I didn't go close enough on one side. Let me see. Sometimes I get a little bit nervous on these little tiny ones. So I'm going to redo it right here. It's just a tiny little bit. I usually always do. If you see any of my tutorials, I always sew the neckband up because I want to see how much I'm serging. And there it is. So cute. Let me just open it up and while I steam it, because it's easier to steam it down this way. So then you steam it down. If you want to go ahead and top stitch that down, you are more than welcome to. This is up to you. I'm just steaming it down. I can't wait to try this on my little niece. She is adorable. She is so sweet. We went out to eat the other day for my grandma's birthday. And look, that's gonna be so cute. We went out to eat for my grandma's birthday the other day and she was just laying there being content. Literally as soon as the waiter brought out the food, she started crying. Like, I want some food. It was so cute. But she right now, it's only like 4 weeks old. So like, she's not eating real food or anything like that. But it was just funny how it coincidentally was that as soon as the waiter brought food out, she started crying. So my sister's like holding her and feeding her. And then she got steak and she had like steak with a fork and she was like eating it with just like the whole steak because she couldn't even cut the steak. She just like stabbed it and started like chewing on it. Like, it looked so funny, but it was funny. But yeah, so I like ate as fast as I could so I could hold the baby. So now that we did the neckband, we're gonna attach our armbands. And these armbands are attached a little bit differently. Usually when we attach armbands, we do kind of like the neckband. We sew up the sides first, but this one we're going to attach the armbands first and then sew the sides, which is really good because this is such a cute little tiny romper. And if I was to sew the sides, the armbands on, like I did the neckband, the hole would be like really tiny and kind of hard to do it. So this is a better way to do it. So I'm gonna fold it right down the middle to find that middle area. And I'm just gonna snippity snappity snap. Make sure you snap on the raw edge and you don't snap on the middle, the center. Because if you do, then you'll have a hole in the middle of your band. And I'm gonna match that spot right to the edge, right sides together again, and pin it. And then we're gonna go out to one side. There's the mail. And I'm expecting some fabric. She's putting stuff in my mailbox. Yes. Do you love it when you get fabric? I mean, I love it when I get fabric. All right, I'm not even gonna pin that side because that's where I'm gonna start. So I'll start there. I'm doing the same with the other band. Right sides together, raw edges together. Pin that middle right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and attach that band to my romper. Now remember, you're gonna do just like with the neckband, you're gonna stretch out that arm a little bit. So I'm gonna start a little bit and then I'm gonna pull it. Because if I start by pulling right away, it's gonna keep coming out. So I'll stretch it first and then I'll pull it. So same for the bottom. I'm just gonna remove this pin since I'm gonna be holding it right here at the end. I use my other hand to pull it out of the way and get it ready. We go. I did it again. I don't understand. It's like I'm so timid when it comes to these little ones. I'm so scared it's not gonna attach that then I like go too far out. Like don't pull it hard. I'm scared I'm gonna eat too much of the band, so then I like sew it too far. Okay, one armband on, and here comes the other one. Like, I tell you to do all these things, and then as I'm doing them, I'm not even paying attention. Guys. Alright, here we go. Just a little snip. Now I'm going to pay attention on this one. So we're going to get it done right. Or so I think, right? Right. Okay, now the second part. I think that first part came out good. Don't jinx myself. Second part. Ooh, I did that one well. Good job, Diana. So some people, and I just said Diana, and I'll tell you, people ask me all the time, what's your name? And my name is Diana, but a lot of people call me Diana because they have a hard time saying my name. And they'll ask me, okay, so my name is Diana, and they'll say Deanna. I said, hey, my name is not Deanna, my name is Diana, which is different. So most of the time I prefer, if they can't say Diana, just call me Diana, and it's fine. A lot of people call me Diana, so that's fine with me. So sometimes I'll call myself Diana. Randomness. Diana, what's your name? Do you struggle with people getting your name, pronouncing your name correctly? It's not that big of a deal to me. I don't know. I've grown used to it, and so it really doesn't bother me. But yes, if you were wondering, my name is Diana. So let's see. So now that I've done the things, I'm going to fold it right sides together, and we're gonna do the side seams. And you know what? Look at that. I did not pattern match because, like I said, these were just a little bit of scraps left over from my dress. And so I didn't have enough to pattern match. So I just kind of was just glad that I had enough to finish it up. Here we go. So now we're going to go ahead and sew up the sides. My sister's gonna love this. She loves, we're very similar. And it's funny because we're really 7 years apart. She's my baby sister. We're 7 years apart. But now that we're older, we're both older, it doesn't even seem like we're that far apart. We're really good friends now. When we were little, I was mean to her. Okay, so on the arm areas right here where we meet up and we had the serger tail, what I usually do is I fold that serger tail down over the actual serge edge. So I put it right over it, and then I do a zigzag stitch and bring that serger tail in there and just zigzag over the serged edge. It would help if I put it right on there, on the right spot. On that serger tail, just over the serge edge. I don't go on the dress liner fabric or whatever. I just do it right on the edge of the serger tail of the serger. So like, I don't know if you can see it right there. It just got zigzagged on, and then I cut the little tail off. That's how I tuck in my tails. And then you'll steam and bring it down. So that is our top. It's like a little tank. Ah, so cute. All right, so now we'll move on to doing our romper, our bottom. Okay, so I've got my two sides. Come on. Oh my goodness. I've got my one side and then my other side together. And what we're going to do is first we're going to press the shorts up and it's going to be 1 inch. So we're measuring 1 inch. See, I just eyeball it, but I'm so used to it now that I'm pretty good with eyeballing the measurements. As I say that, I feel like I went way too high up here. Yeah, I went like 1.25 inches. Just gonna measure it a little bit. Yeah. I just went like 1.25 inches right there, but that's okay because I'll just move it down because I'm just steaming it. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and hem it right there. So I'm just gonna pin it and hem. And for this top hem, I'm going to use my cover stitch because after we hem that, we're going to do, and we're hemming, it's the bottom of the shorts, okay? So it's 1 inch. If you're not doing the bubble part, which I mean you don't have to if you don't want to, but it looks so cute. You can just hem it regularly and be done, but we're gonna do a hem, and after we hem it, we're going to do a casing for the elastic that we're gonna put in there that is gonna give it the bubbly look. Hence the Whimsy bubble romper. I should just go by the lines, you know, it's like, it's a striping material, just go by the lines. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and hem that, and what I'm gonna do to hem it is I'm gonna use my cover stitch, but if you have a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine or a double needle, any of that stuff will work as well, stretch stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back and we'll do the casing and we'll move on to the next step. All right, so now that we went ahead and hemmed that, now I forgot to tell you for the front, you leave a little gap at the end, 1 inch gap at the end, so don't go all the way to the edge, leave like 1 inch at the end. But for the other one, we'll go all the way to the end. And now we'll measure from where we hemmed down 3/8. So we're gonna measure down 3/8, and that's where we're gonna sew our casing. So we're gonna sew a strip for our casing, okay? So I've got right here my measurement on my sewing machine. I already measured 3/8, and I know where I'm gonna put my fabric. But if you don't, you can measure it, and then sometimes I'll do like a little mark on my sewing machine, like a little pencil mark that I can erase later. Like, this is what 3/8 is, so I'm gonna mark it right there, and that's where my fabric needs to stay at all times. It's like all foggy right now on my camera. It's probably the steam from the iron. Anyway, so I'll do that, and then we can do just a straight stitch because it's going to be, this is what it's going to look like afterwards when we feed our elastic through. So it doesn't really need to stretch very much because the elastic will keep it tight. So a straight stitch will work just fine. If you want to increase your stitch length, you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that up. And after we're done sewing that up, we're going to feed the elastic, the leg elastic, through it. And I'm going to use a safety pin because I have not found, I have a tool, but I don't know where I put it. So I'm doing the safety pin way. And we're just going to feed it through that casing that's between the hemming and the line we just made. And we're going to go ahead and start feeding it, and then as soon as it gets in the elastic, we're going to go ahead and sew the elastic in place so it doesn't come off, because we're not going to go out on the round. Now, if you're not doing the snaps, then you will go in the round. But see, I just went in, so I'm going to go ahead and sew back and forth right there to sew that elastic into place. I'm just doing back and forth. Elastic into place. If you're doing, like I said, no snaps, then you will attach that together when you attach the legs together, so that you don't have to do this. But it's just an easy step to do just to secure that elastic. I might do it anyway, even if I was doing the leg wraparound without the snap. And I'm going all the way around. I'm wondering if you even have to do the buttons on the back if you were just regular, not doing the snaps at the bottom, because you probably could just fit through the neck. But I wouldn't, you know, if you're doing something that has a lot of, the fabric has a lot of stretch, then maybe that might work. But sometimes, you know, if you don't use something that's very stretchy, that probably will not work. So now I'm just finishing feeding that elastic through, and when it gets to this end, again, I'm going to do the same thing, back and forth right here. Make sure you pull that safety pin out of the way. Do not want to get your needle through that safety pin and end up breaking a needle. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to clip all these hairs. I call them hairs, threads. I don't know why I always call them hairs. And our leg is done, basically. So now we're going to attach them together. Shoot. Okay. So now we're going to put them, the shorts, right sides together on top of each other. And we're going to sew the rise just right here, all the way around that area, that raw edge. So I'm going to pin them and sew around the raw edge. Another place where I did not meet the lines. I had very limited amount of fabric to work with. That's okay, they'll still look really super cute. Plus it's gathered like bubbly, so hopefully you won't even be able to tell at all. Plus really, sometimes when you buy ready to wear clothing, stripes don't even match with ready to wear, so it's okay. Alright, since I'm doing the placket, I'm just sewing that area right here. Make sure both sides of the fabric are getting cut in there. Now the other side. We're almost done with a bubble romper. If you're not doing snaps, this is where you would put them together right here, and you would sew that bottom crotch area right here sewn together. But since I am doing snaps, this is so cute. Since I am doing snaps, I am going to now put my snaps on. And I can tell which is my front because of my higher rise is in the back. So, okay, I'm going to put the placket together. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do, for the back placket, I'm going to put just a little bit of reinforcement. This is not even, this is just a tiny bit of interfacing I had. It's not even that much interfacing. It doesn't even cover the whole thing, but it's just I like a little bit of interfacing to give it a little bit of reinforcement. And so we're going to put it right sides together. Interfacing, I attached it to the back. But we're going to put these two right sides together. And we're going to sew edge, longwise edge. And leave one edge open for turning. So we're going to sew the edges together. And really you can do this with a sewing machine to give it more of a sharp corners. I'm doing it with my serger, which will not give it very sharp corners. But I'm okay with that. And now I'm going to turn it around. And you'll see what I mean by not sharp corners. with my serger, I have these tails right here, so it has like this little bumpy edge right there. But I'm fine with that. If you want to go ahead and, if you want to top stitch that, you can, and give it like a more top stitch look, but I'm fine with how they look right now. So here's what we're doing. That's my back, this is my front. So my front back has a little bit of a higher rise. I'm going to grab my front and I'm going to pin it. So I'm going to kind of find the halfway mark just because I want to. I'm putting it right in the middle, and then I'm going to go all the way down and sew it on right sides together at that edge right there. Sure you remove that pin. Alright, so now what we're going to do with this front placket, now the front placket will be folded down like so and top stitched, because the snaps will go right here and they'll cover the front, the black placket. So you will fold this down, and that is why you left that little space right there, because that's where you're sewing this down to. So it's okay if you didn't leave this space, it really doesn't matter, but you're gonna sew it down, top stitch it, and that's where the snaps are gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and top stitch that. I'm gonna do it with my cover stitch, if I can get it in there. Choo, 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 choo. Come on. Probably should have changed my setting on my cover stitch. This is, it was thicker than it was earlier. A couple more layers than earlier, so it was struggling. But I didn't change it, but that's okay. Alright, so that is on our front. And now we're going to do the same to the back, but the back one will not be folded down like this front one was. That's why we did that little bit of interfacing right there to help with the snaps. So I'm going to find my middle and I'm going to sew it on just the same way, but it will just be folded down. The front will come over that back one, if that makes any sense, when we put the snaps on. So I'm going to sew this little piece of thread that hangs out. I'm gonna stitch it in like I did my sleeves. So look, there it is. So here it is, the bottom. So what we do now is when we put the snaps on, we'll put the snaps on the top right here, and this will go over it just like so, just like this. You can see here it is, my back one, and then this will go right on top of it. So you can top stitch that back one straight right here to keep it on. You're not gonna fold it down, you can just top stitch it to give it like a finished look. Oh, we'll help you if I close it. And now if you want to, now is when you can go ahead and do your snaps now, or you can wait until after you attach it. It's up to you, but I'm going to show you real quick how we put on the snaps. That's what it will look like once the snaps are on. I'm gonna show you one snappity snap. And I'm gonna put 3 snaps, 1 in the middle and 2 on each side, because I don't think we need a whole bunch, and I don't wanna catch the ruffle. I wanna let the ruffle be a ruffle. So I'm just gonna put 1 in the middle and 1 on each side, especially because this is a little baby size, so that will be fine. How do I open this? I need instructions to open the little sticky bag. So I'm using 1 front and 1 back snap. I'm just using the plastic snaps. So I'm gonna find my middle. The first one will be easy because it's just the middle. And I'll use this handy dandy tool that comes with it, and I put both of them right on top of each other and rip the hole through. And so the one at the top one will come through the top, through the top, if I can get it, slippery. And we'll put the back to it right here. And then we'll use a little handy dandy tool. It is so easy, guys. There it is. There's the front. And then the back will come through the back. I'm sorry, this hole wasn't very big. There it is. It will come through the back. I'm sorry. Yes, through the back, through the inside. Follow my own directions. So this is the inside, so it'll come through the inside because it's gonna snap on over it, okay? And then we'll put the other one on. You don't want to put the snaps on wrong because they're easy to put on, but they are hard to take off. They were so hard to take off. I messed up once before, and now I take my time. Okay, so then you will snap close like this. Hope you can see it. If that makes sense. So there's 1 button on the crotch right now, and I'll put the other ones in a little bit. So I'll put 2 more on each side. 1 more on each side, I'm sorry. And that will be so cute. All right, so now to attach, we're basically done. Now all we have to do is attach our bodice to this part to the bodice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark the quarters because I wanna make sure that I attach it, I gather it correctly. So I mark that, and then I'm gonna mark my haft on this because the size will be my quarters, but the front and the back. There it is. So now I'm gonna use a gathering stitch on my sewing machine. Actually, I'm just doing a long stitch, my longest stitch, which is a basting stitch. That's what I'm just using that for gathering right now. And you can do 2 rows for a better gather. So I might do that. I might just go all the way around. Don't knot it, don't go back and forth because you're gonna pull on it. And I'm gonna do that again, just so I have 2 rows. Sometimes two rows is easier than just the 1 row. So if I'm doing something that's gathered, this is gonna be gathered a little bit, I wanna do 2 rows. But you can also gather on your serger. I've done serger gathers, and those are actually pretty easy, so it's up to you really what you want to do. All right, so now we got to gather this romper bottom the width of the bodice. So I'm going to start pulling and gathering. To the width of the bodice. I'm going to pull from both sides because I don't want this to go in. So now that is the width of the bodice, I'm going to use the fact that I quartered it as my tellings of how much it needs to be gathered on each side. If that makes any sense. It helps me to see, okay, I need to gather a little bit more on this side or a little bit less on this side. But right now it looks pretty even. Let me make sure I'm gathering right here where the actual things are. So there it is. And I'm going to actually tie these together because sometimes you'll tend to want to open, and I don't want it to open. To ungather, I mean. So this is good, and now I'm gonna work with the gathers and make sure they're all even. And this is when it comes in handy when you quartered, because you know, like, this is half of the gathers, half of them need to be up front, and quarter of them need to be over here. So there it is, gathered up. So now I'm gonna grab my bodice, and the easiest thing for me to do is tuck in this bodice into the shorts. So it's right sides together, the bodice and the shorts. And I'm gonna meet that front seam with the front. So this is, yeah, this is my back. So this is my back seam right here. I see my back seam. And I'm gonna meet that with the back seam of the romper. Because you wanna make sure that you're keeping it the right sides on the right side. Now I'm gonna meet the side seam with that nip I took over here somewhere. Here it is. Now my back seam, that little nip I took over here. Where's my back seam? Here it is. And guys, we are almost done with our romper. Cute little romper. Here is my other quarter. And now I'm gonna go ahead and sew, and I'll start with my back one and really slowly sew. Make sure that all your gathers are in there. Make sure you're catching those gathers as you sew. And this is why sometimes those two lines come in handy. A lot of gathers. This is a really bubbly romper. Which actually makes it easier to gather, I think. More gathers makes it easier. Make sure everything else is out of the way. You just want to be catching your gathers and your romper. You don't want to be catching other parts of your romper. Now we make sure that we cap all those. I did. Yes. Oh, I missed a little bit right here. Like a tiny, seriously, like one little tiny bit. So I'm just going to zigzag it on. There's no need for me to go back with a serger when it's just one little fold. Sounded like it was more than it really was, but I just wanted to make sure it's nice and attached. There. So now we can remove those threads. All my basting stitches. Remove them all out of the way. All the hairs. And we are done with this bubble romper. How cute is this thing? Can't even tell right now because I'm still not done pulling all these threads out. Throw them on the ground, we'll clean them up later. My son actually came in here this morning and he cleaned up a lot of my sewing space. And it's funny because, I mean, I didn't ask him to. He's just, sometimes he's really, really helpful. I started to clean up a little bit. I'm not saying I cleaned up a whole lot, but I cut a lot of fabric yesterday. And I have a ton of projects on my table right now. And I started to clean up a little bit of it, and then he saw me cleaning it, and he started picking it up himself, like a bunch of it, and started putting it in like the trash bags and everything. I'm like, thank you, bud. And here's our bubble romper. How stinking cute is this thing? I am thinking that I might make a little, like with yellow fabric, probably not this one, maybe make a little bow right here or something, but this is ridiculously cute. I gotta tuck this in, my tail, but we are done. How cute is this? Tell me how cute it is. My snaps at the bottom. I'm going to be matching hers. Isn't this adorable? We're gonna look so cute together. I'm kidding. So anyway, I hope you had a great time. Please let me know if you have any questions whatsoever about anything that I did with this romper. Please comment below. If you have any questions, please like, share, subscribe. Remember to comment below so you can be entered for a giveaway. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!